smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out.
How's it going, guys? It's Ryan here, and welcome to this video where we are going to be testing out the Mizuyari. This is a series that I stopped doing about 6 months ago, and I feel like in that last 6 months my content has changed quite a bit. In the past, this series was 50% based on player versus monster and 50% based on player versus player. It'd be about 20 minutes long with about 10 minutes of each, and I've decided that in the future I'm going to change that up a little bit so the ratio should be a little more skewed towards player versus monster. Now, on top of that, one thing I didn't like about the previous installments of my testing series is a lot of the time I'd be like, yeah, this is pretty good. I would say that a lot, or something like, yeah, this is really good, but I didn't really have anything to compare it to. So in this video, I'm going to be slightly more analytical. There are going to be a couple more graphics, some more calculations and things, so it won't just be me saying this is good or this isn't good. I'll also have some numbers to back what I'm saying. So anyway, guys, hopefully you do enjoy, and let's get right into it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at the Mizuyari from an aesthetic perspective only. So overall, it looks pretty cool. In my opinion, it goes really, really great with Malevolent. I've seen some people with it keepsaked, but overall, it's not a weapon that you're going to get just because it looks good. What you're looking at right now is a graphic comparing the stats between the tier 75 Zamorakian Spear, the tier 80 Chaotic Spear, and the tier 85 Mizuyari. This graphic shows the respective accuracies, damages, and costs of these three spears, and on the bottom in the green there, that's the difference between the tier before and the current tier that the green is underneath. For example, the difference in accuracy between the Zamorakian Spear and the Chaotic Spear is 230, while the difference in damage is 112. Now, this is probably a good time to mention that the Mizuyari is not the best in slot spear in the game. It is not the highest tier spear in the game, because ever since the Bounty Hunter update, you can actually add a patch to a regular tier 78 Vesta spear to create a degrades to dust tier 88 spear that will last 100,000 charges in combat. Initially, I looked at the GE guide prices and it looked like that was going to be the best method to kill the Corporeal Beast by far. It looked like it wouldn't even be close, because based on the GE guide prices, I thought you'd be able to get yourself a tier 88 spear for about 11.5 mil. At 11.5 mil, it'd be extremely cheap because the 100,000 charges in combat should last between 35 and 40 hours in combat against the Corp Beast. The problem arose when I actually tried to buy the spear and the armor patch. The armor patch bought for a little bit under 10 million GP, which was more than the guide price, and I couldn't even get the spear for 6 times the guide price. It was about 3 mil in GE, and I couldn't get one for 18. At a price of 28 mil that it didn't even buy for, that's absolutely not worth it for a spear that's going to degrade to dust after between 35 and 40 hours of combat. The only single scenario when it would be more worthwhile to have the tier 88 superior Vesta spear is if you're going for the pet and you have tons of money coming out of your ears, you don't care about it at all, and you just want it the fastest way possible. But before you go ahead and buy the tier 88 spear, remember that you're paying a ton of money for most likely less than 1 extra kill per hour. That's how slight the difference is between the tier 85 and the tier 88, and that's not going to be worth it for the majority of players. So without further ado, let's get right back into the video where we are going to be talking about the tier 85 Mizuyari. In the background, I've got a couple Zerk rotations and Onslaught rotations and some legacy stuff as well, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about where I think this spear is going to be most useful and where I don't think it'll be good at all. For starters, you definitely don't want to solo next with this thing, and the exact same goes for Araxxor. I think it's going to be decent at Araxxor, but it definitely won't compare to something like a Noxious Scythe or even a Dragon Rider Lance, because the Mizuyari does not have that extra attack range that the two weapons I just mentioned do have. Now, as a Slayer weapon, this thing will definitely be better than something like Drygor's on most tasks, because you do have the 3 multi-target abilities being Hurricane, Quake, and Cleave that are really, really beneficial, as well as Meteor Strike if you really want to do that. At the price point of just over 40 mil, it's probably not worth buying just for a Slayer weapon, but it will be decent there too. In terms of where this spear is going to thrive, you have to look no further than the Corporeal Beast. The reason for this is any weapon that is not a spear will only deal half damage to the boss. That makes the Mizuyari one of the best weapons you could bring here, and I'll be comparing it in detail at the Corp Beast to both the Zamorakian Spear and the Chaotic Spears. Okay, the first boss I brought this to was Araxxor, and I was fully expecting to be very disappointed. I thought, first off, tier 85 damage and accuracy, maybe I'm gonna have bad hit chance, that might be something that comes up, and then most importantly, I thought, doing Araxxor in melee distance where you're getting attacked by the melee and the range hits, it's just gonna be horrible. I didn't see it going well, especially on Araxxor when you're taking the magic and the melee hits. I didn't see it going well, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. I really went into it thinking it wouldn't go well at all, and it kind of blew me away. As you can see, the hit chance is pretty good. I'm showing a couple Zerk rotations, and then I'm going to show one Araxxor phase, and overall, I mean, this is not a weapon that you're going to take and you're going to buy just to take to Araxxor, but if it's all you have and you're investing in this, know that it will definitely do the trick at this boss. It'll be just fine, and what what you're watching right now is I actually got to Araxxor, and I did Araxxor, the entirety of it, without switching my prayers at all, just camping Mage Prey, without actually eating a single food. So that's just to say, you know, this isn't a terrible strategy to do at Araxxor, especially if you're only planning on doing like 3, 4, 5 kills a day, staying on the fairly low enrage stuff. This will definitely do the trick, and it'll be just fine for your daily Araxxor needs. Kill speed was not much slower than I'd do with a Noxious Scythe, so on the whole, I would say this thing gets a passing grade at Araxxor. If you're doing super high enrage kills, obviously being in melee distance is not a good idea. It definitely won't go as well, but for low enrage stuff, I can definitely recommend this thing and say, if you've got it, definitely try it out here. It was surprisingly good. In the end, I ended up doing 4 Araxxor kills, and the most food I used in any of those kills was 12, and the food I used in the kill you just saw right there was 6. So 6 food for the entire kill. Obviously, just low enrage stuff. The higher the enrage you get, the worse it gets when you're in melee distance. And on top of that, when you check the loot and you get a spider-like piece, I mean, can you really complain? Okay, the next place I brought this spear was Telos, and I can't even say that with a straight face because, pretty simply, don't do it. Do not buy this weapon with the intention of using it at Telos. If you need to get the odd Reaper done, I guess you could. It'll be very frustrating and triggering, but you could do it. Definitely, this is not something you want to practice Telos with. This isn't something you want to streak with. It's just not particularly good. The hit chance is fine, the damage is fine. The biggest problem is the attack range. The attack range makes so many aspects of the fight so difficult. It's almost to the point that you'd be better off using a tier 75 Abyssal Wand and Orb just for the attack range and the combat style of magic. There's nothing wrong with using melee at Telos if you have a Noxious Scythe or something with halberd range, but yeah, the having to stand right next to Telos causes a lot of problems. The first problem it causes is in phase 3 when you need to stand in the red beam to get the phase down quickly, and you stand in the red beam and then you attack Telos with your shatter and it walks you out of the red beam. And then in the second kill I did, I onslaughted in the red beam, it started the onslaught, here you see right here, and then it walked me 1 square out of the red beam. So like, great, that's absolutely perfect. So yeah, it's really frustrating when that happens. Obviously, it's avoidable. You can lure Telos, you can run an extra square, and then Telos will move forward, and then you can walk back onto the red beam. But with the red beam jumping 3 or 4 or 5 times in any P3 you're doing, it's really not convenient to have to deal with that at all. The other thing that sucked is you had to run up to the minions every time. You had to go all the way up to them to kill them, and a lot of the time that meant running out of the red beam. Now, one other thing about the Mizuyari is it doesn't have that Noxious Scythe extra attack range, and that really does come up in phases 4 and 5 of the Telos kill when you're trying to clear those minions, and you do a Hurricane, and it just doesn't hit the ones that are 1 square too far. With something like a Scythe or a Dragon Rider Lance, all the minions would be hit by that, but with the Mizuyari, it just doesn't really happen. Overall, if you're not really doing much Telos, and you just do it for the occasional Reaper, this weapon will be fine, but on the whole, I definitely wouldn't recommend it here. Okay, next up, we have the Corporeal Beast. This is the place that you'd buy the spear for. This is the place where if you're planning on camping for a pet or you just want to get your Reapers done a little quicker, this spear will excel. First off, you may have noticed I'm using a Zamorakian spear right now. That's because I did some testing. I did some testing with a Zamorakian spear, the Chaotic spear, as well as the Mizuyari, and for the most part, I'm going to be looking at 1 Zerk rotation. As you can see, I had all the spears in my invent. I did the same trip, the exact same gear, and I did a couple Zerk rotations with each of these spears. This lets me take both the accuracy bonus and the damage into account with the hit chance to get sort of an average base value with how much damage I'll end up doing with each of these weapons in a Zerk rotation. This should let you guys see in quantitative terms, on average, how much better the Mizuyari would be to the Chaotic spear, how much better the Chaotic spear would be to the Zamorakian spear, and that should help you assess which spear is going to be best for your needs depending on your budget. One other thing that's worth mentioning is you should be using a Reaper necklace if you have one at the Corporeal Beast. That's my personal preference, but for this testing, I was not using one. The reason I wasn't using it is because the stacks on the Reaper necklace actually affect the accuracy of the weapon you're using, and you get 1 stack every time your weapon hits. What this means is it would favor a weapon with higher accuracy bonus because not only would you have the higher accuracy bonus, but that also lead to more stacks, which means the Reaper necklace would benefit the Mizuyari more than any of the other weapons. That's why I'm not wearing one for this testing. Now, as you can see, here are the results of the testing. You've got the Zerk damages on average from each of the 3 weapons. You've got a percent difference as well as a damage difference, and the results are really interesting. They're way more linear than I thought they would be, and I thought it would be way more skewed toward the Mizuyari. I figured it would be something like 10,000 difference between the Zami spear and the Chaotic spear, and then 16,000 difference between the Chaotic spear and the Mizuyari. But like I said before, it was really linear. There was a 14,289 damage difference between the Zamorakian spear and the Chaotic spear, and there was a 15,360 damage difference between the Chaotic spear and the Mizuyari. If you do the math on that, you'll find that the jump between the Chaotic Spear and the Mizuyari is 7% greater than the jump between the Zamorakian Spear and the Chaotic Spear. And as you can see, it's a pretty significant jump, so I would strongly recommend the Mizuyari if you're going for anything more than just the occasional Reaper. If you ever think you want to camp Corp or try and get a sigil or just try and make some money there, the Mizuyari is definitely going to be worth your time. So we've talked about the numbers, but now I'm going to talk a little bit about strategy. Pretty much, if you're doing Corp with a Reaper necklace, anytime you lay a hit on Corp, you're going to get an extra stack on your Reaper necklace, which will increase your accuracy by 0.1% per stack. The trick to getting a really successful Corp kill and a really good Zerk is you want to start off the kill with a couple bleeds. The reason for this is every single time the bleed hits, that'll also add a stack to your Reaper necklace. If you start off a Corp kill with 2 bleeds, by the time you get into your Assault, Hurricane, and Quake in your Zerk rotation, you're already going to have 20, 25, or even all the way at the max 30 stacks on your Reaper necklace, and that's going to really help making sure every single high-hitting damage attack from your Zerk is gonna hit. In that Zerk rotation you just saw finish there, we hit 67,000 damage, which is approximately 2/3 of the Corp kill just in that 20 seconds. Now let's take a look at one more example. What I'm doing is I'm starting off the kill with a Dismember, and then I'm gonna go into a Slaughter. Walking the Slaughter is optional, but I'd also recommend doing that because it will speed up your kill a little bit, but the most important thing is look at my stacks. I just Zerked and I'm already on 28 stacks on my Reaper necklace, and that's how to ensure that it goes really well. And look at this Assault. We do 27k damage just in that Assault and then the ability I use after it, so it's absolutely insane. With the proper strategy, your Corp kills can absolutely fly by. Your kill speed's gonna go way up as soon as you add a Mizuyari, and for anyone who either wants to camp for the Corp pet or wants a really good way to make upwards of 5 mil an hour, I would strongly recommend getting the Mizuyari. Now that being said, if you only do Corp for your Reaper, it's definitely not a must-have. It's good, it's useful, but you can easily get by with a Chaotic Spear. Okay, we've tested out the Mizuyari in a couple PVM scenarios, but we definitely haven't tried PvPing in it, so that's what we're going to be doing right now. We're going to be going Rock Shell. I need to grab a Warrior Ring from the bank, I'm great at this, and we're actually going to be using the Tetsu Katana and the Tetsu Wakizashi with the augmented Mizuyari, so basically all the tier 85s with the funky names. Let's get right into this, I'm really excited. Also, fair note, I haven't PK'd in a really long time, so hopefully we get some nice KOs, and hopefully I don't die right away because I only have one set of Superior Rock Shell. Okay, so my target actually hopped because I guess it wasn't worth his time trying to kill me, so let's jump into a fight with this Polyporer. This should be a lot of fun. This is the type of fight I wanted to get with the Mizuyari, just a regular, fun little fight. I mean, he's got the combat triangle, but I'm really excited for this. See if I can do some work. Wow, I'm getting demolished. What was that thing that came out of nowhere and hit me? What the heck? This guy and his Polyporer is just doing absolute work, and then the one time I avenge, it's just a nothing hit. Oh my, what? How do you hit that with a what? I'm very confused. Alright, here we go. I'm jumping into a fight with this dude. Look at those hits, though, from the katana. You know what? I gotta drop a shark here, just in case. I don't want to miss the KO point. Look at these hits with the katana. Mizuyari, go. I just want to see some hits with this thing, see what I can actually do. Oh, he just venged now. Not on the vengeance, so not on the vengeance. Beautiful. 11 on the vengeance. That's perfect. See what I can do with this thing. Don't spec me right away, please. Come on, one more hit. 88. Come on, I can do better than that. Mizuyari, come on. Come on. I know you can do better than that. Ooh, I can kill him here. Yeah, good fight. No way he tanked that. Whew, this guy is good at predicting. 514, you know what, I'm just gonna camp this thing. I'm probably gonna die to a vengeance, but the point is to test out the spear, so I may as well. 474, oh, he smited too, I think. Might have an AGS right here, 450. Look at these combos with the Mizuyari. It's surprisingly decent, but then a 104. Ruined the combo for me. That would have been beautiful. 340, please, get the hit. Oh, he got his prayer up. The very last second, wow. I'm really comboing him out. He's absolutely on the ropes. A 531. He can't tank fast enough. This is actually ridiculous. I don't think I've red barred someone this many times in a row in my life. That's gotta be some kind of record for me. That was incredible. But unfortunately, we didn't even manage to get the kill. That's definitely going in the video, though. That was really cool. Jumping into a rematch with Ice Bolt, you definitely didn't see the first fight because I just decided to spec for some stupid reason on 150 life points and then he just tapped me a 150. Definitely not a clip worth showing. So yeah, anyways, let's get right into this fight. He challenged me to a fight. I wasn't going around asking people 10 levels lower than me if they wanted to fight and be in a YouTube video. I'm not really one of those. I'll give him his loot back if I kill him, of course. Here we go. Oh, I should have waited for the offhand hit. I blew it. I done blew it. Don't kill me. Oh, I thought he was going to spec there. I really thought he was going to spec there because I would have spec there if I were him. Please get the kill there. Oh, that could have been it. That was actually the best combo I've had with this thing so far. It doesn't combo exceptionally well. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not incredible either. Yeah, I just gotta wait for the main hand hit, offhand hit. There we go, 323, offhand 152, and then Mizuyari, just like that, 600 flat. Look at those hits. That's actually phenomenal. That's crazy. Dragon Longsword, go, 472. What, are you kidding me? I did not know it could hit that hard. One more. Ooh, that wasn't even bad at all. Into this thing, another smack, and he's probably already out of food. We just went ham right there. Good fight to you, man. And let's go look for another fight. It honestly isn't helping me much that this guy's lower level because, whoa, he almost killed me right there as I say that. But because he knows I'm higher level, so he's like keeping his hit points pretty high and he's being very cautious. And I'm not calling him a safe or anything. He's just being really, really smart with his eats. So it's definitely not helping me that much. He's a little lower level, but I did manage to tank a spec, so that's definitely gonna help. Just gotta wait for a big katana hit, big offhand hit, and then it's gonna be over for him. We're gonna get a kill real quick. Just big main hand hit, big offhand hit. Oh, 7 with the offhand. That's really not what you need. And I'm also out of Venge runes. It's a disaster. It's a total disaster. 400 life points. I should probably eat here, but I don't really want to. 531. Keep the combo coming. Keep the combo coming. Oh, we got him with a 492. Sometimes you have to risk it for the biscuit. Good fight to you, man. This is a clip from the day of release of Bounty Hunter. Unfortunately, player versus player is currently a little bit dead. I'm on a weekday, so it's not at peak times, and that's all the PvP clips I could get for this video. Then again, at the start, I did say I wanted to skew it a little bit more towards the PVM stuff, so I guess it works out okay. Every so often, I'll try something out in the wilderness, and I'll just kill absolutely everybody with it. Nobody escapes, no one even gets to tab, and this was not one of those cases at all. 90% of the fights I was in just resulted in the other person tabbing. It does good damage, it hits pretty well, but it doesn't quite get those kills. So overall, if you are a legacy PvPer, it's fun, it's a good little KO weapon, but it's not exceptional. Okay, that's gonna just about do it for this video. I hope you all did enjoy. As always, let me know what you liked and what you didn't. I can certainly make changes. I've done this video a different way from the previous ones in this series, so hopefully you liked the changes. They took a really, really long time, but I think the overall quality of the video is a little bit higher this way. Most importantly, let me know what you want me to test next. There are tons of new items that I haven't tested yet because I haven't done this series in about 6 months. There were 3 new weapons that came out with Bounty Hunter. I still haven't tested the Camel Staff. I haven't looked at the new port set effects, anything like that. So yeah, just feel free to let me know and I can make it happen. So anyway, guys, hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Have a good one, and peace out.
Fill me out with your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you